So this was a weapon that I was kind of told to get because of the fact that the Nukor kind of got nerfed a little bit, with the update, which was kind of like a sneak nerf. They didn't really want people to know. And, I was like, all right, I'll try to get it, I guess. I wasn't really sure about it. But I gotta say, this is definitely, if you don't want to use Nukor, I guess, or if you want to have a Nukor type weapon, I gotta say the Tenet Cycron really works well in that regard. Like, it is a pretty great weapon. It has crit chance, so it's like more towards the crit. Even though it has status, but it also has crit. So it's just like a little bit better version of the Nukor. I'm not gonna say totally amazing. Like a Nukor has, a bit more crit damage, I think. But this is gotta be like, this is basically like a Nukor upgrade, pretty much. And also this thing I think can also still like chain 5 enemies, if I'm not mistaken. But like Nukor can't do that anymore. It can only chain, I think, 3. So that's another thing. So yeah, let's get into the build, I guess. So the build I ended up going for was a crit build, pretty much. The only thing I'm using is actually here, which is different because of the update, is Galvanized Fusion and Creeping Bullseye. The reason I'm using Creeping Bullseye because Creeping Bullseye can give you a little bit more crit chance. Even though we have Prime Pistol Gambit. Prime Pistol Gambit only gives 187, I think, and then Creeping Bullseye gives you just a little bit more. It doesn't really matter, and it's most people are probably going to use Pistol Gambit on most of the pistols because fire rate, losing a little bit of fire rate is a little not that great. But yeah, and then also I'm using Magnum Force. You can use Galvanized Crosshairs if you want to. I think this should do the damage should be kind of similar. I think Crosshairs can do a little bit more damage, but my aim isn't that great, so I just didn't really use it. And then of course, you have Jolt, Pathogen Browns, Convolution for a lot of corrosive, and also I got Toxin on this thing, which I think I'm gonna actually change, and I'm actually gonna go for something else. But yeah, that's the build. So of course, as you could guess, in the testing, this thing was killing enemies pretty quickly because it is like kind of like the Nukor. And if you know anything about Nukor, it's beam weapons, and also beam weapons in general. They're just really good at just status effects and everything like that. The only thing here I gotta say is probably the only thing I hate about this weapon is like the battery operated thing, which by the way I think I might have forgotten to tell you, this is a battery operated weapon. So basically it means it has 40 rounds, it doesn't need any ammo, it regenerates those 40 rounds, and I think of 1.5 seconds or something. I think 1.5 seconds, something like that, some reload thing. And I like it, but it runs out of ammo even with like a little bit of negative fire rate that I have. Even with that, it runs out of ammo kind of quickly. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, it works pretty well, as you would think. Critting everywhere. If you get those headshots going, they can really do a lot of damage. And I think at first I'm using the Galvanized Crosshair setup because I just wanted to show you what the damage difference is between Galvanized Crosshairs and Magnum Force. And because I'm testing these out a lot, and the thing, I'm still not sure if the Galvanized Crosshair mod is like works. Maybe it doesn't work with beam weapons, but it might work with like some weapon that just has doesn't have a projectile, I guess, or doesn't have a beam or something. But now, as you can see with Magnum Force, it's kind of honestly doing the same amount of damage. So that's the thing with these new crit mods. I'm still not sure if they're good or not, or if I want to use them, to be honest. I feel like if you don't want to use them, you could just just slap on the arcanes, which I'm still trying to get, and just do that way. But I'm not sure if these mods are fucking my throat, are good or not. Like they're decent. Like they'll give you damage, but I don't think they're giving you enough damage for you to warrant using them, right? So yeah, so that's just wanted to showcase both of the builds, I guess, with and without Galvanized Crosshairs. So in conclusion, I would say the weapon is pretty good, as it should be, because this thing is just seems like kind of a pretty decent replacement for like a Nukor. Like if you don't want to get it, or if you don't have one yet, this is like a very good replacement. I think there's still chains 5 enemies. I could be wrong, by the way. But the chaining enemy doesn't really matter. The single target damage is pretty good. You could take an insteel path that it will do fine, and another thing I wanted to add on this, because a lot of people are going to be like, what about the status mod? Now, with the status mod with my specific Cycron right now, I can't use it because the status mod is it gives you 80% damage because it stacks twice, and you could get that stack done pretty quickly. It stacks twice, it gives you 80% damage every status type affecting the target. So I only have 2 status types on here, so I'm only going to get 160. And with Magnum Force, you can get 165% damage already. So with my Cycron, I can't put the status mod on here. But if I were to, let's say, try to get some other status effect on there, which by the way, I would tell you, go for radiation. Because if you can get radiation, heat, and let's say corrosive on this thing, which I'm hoping you can get. Yeah, I think you can probably get that. So go for that, because you want to have at least 3 status effects on this thing. So if you can't get those 3 status effects, that is radiation, heat, and corrosive, then using the status mod, which gives you, that's going to give you like 160, 80, how much did I, 250? 250% more damage? Something like that. I'm not good at quick math, but I feel like if you want to get this weapon, get radiation on this thing. I went for toxin because I thought it will just have heat toxin, but it doesn't. It just fuses the toxin together with the heat and makes it gas. If you only get like a single element on it, like not a element type, but you only get like heat or electricity or toxin. Which you can get rid of, by the way. You can get rid of gas, and you can put corrosive and heat, as I have. But I would say, honestly, just go for radiation. This thing is like gonna be. I'm just not sure, because I still have to get the radiation Cycron and fuse it together, and I didn't really want to wait to get the one and then get the thing done. So I just wanted to get the video out straight away. But I would say try to get radiation on it, and then try out the status mod. Let's see, and see if that gives you a bit more damage, because I think the status mod could give you a lot more damage if you can have 3 status effects on this rather than 2, which I have right now, which is why I'm using Magnum Force. But yeah, that's the Tenet Cycron. It is a very good, amazing weapon. If you want to get your hands on it, you can, pretty easy. I like the fact that like the corpus liches are like easier to get. Like why can't they make the fucking Kuva liches as easy as to get, like the corpus liches for some reason? Like, just make it a little easier. But yeah, that's the Tenet Cycron. Get your hands on this shit. It's pretty good. Yeah, the battery thing is a little weird for me, but it is a pretty amazing weapon. And I'm not gonna say overpowered, because I think Nukor can still do the same type of damage. I'm not gonna say like this. I think Cycron is a little bit of an upgrade, definitely, but I think Nukor can still do stuff, but it can't chain a lot of enemies anymore. But yeah, that's the Tenet Cycron. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.